swear I remember it to this day. I got second place. It was like a big bracket of people. I got second, but I lost in the finals to that little girl. She was short, but man, she could kick. Oh,
All right. Good evening. What's up, everybody? This is Uncomfortable Conversations, and I am your host, Jabri Cowan. I brought a very special guest with me today. My fighting coach. I be beating him up sometimes. He get the best of me other times.
you got like one
Nah,
takedown. You got like one.
that wrestling come in handy, but
Hell yeah.
this is my jiu-jitsu coach, the infamous Mr. Marcus. How you doing, man?
Appreciate it. Appreciate everything good in you.
I'm doing good, boss.
I like that
So,
shirt though. I like that shirt.
yeah, we gotta represent out here. Hey, the back of the shirt look better. Let me see if I can. The back of the shirt look a little better though.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Go
yeah.
for
So this is Marcus's gym right here, train certified. He specializes, I think, in just jujitsu training, but you guys do all of it, right?
Yeah, jiu-jitsu and MMA.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so like I was we met because I kind of walked into a gym looking for somewhere I could wrestle because I got a background in wrestling for those who know me. And I kind of got talked into kind of trying out jujitsu because it's very similar to wrestling. And not gonna lie, I was a little nervous, intimidated, I guess you could say. And then the one thing that eased my nervousness was it was another black guy there. I said,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
okay, yeah, all
Nice.
right. Yeah, so this ain't just new for me. Little did I know, this was the coach. So he teaching everybody. I was like, okay, well that's reassuring and comforting.
Was it a gi
So
no gi class?
it was a no-gi class.
Okay,
It was a
okay.
no-gi class. So I kind of felt I didn't even know that you guys like did the gi class and
Yeah.
everything. I enjoy like watching and learning. So I tried it out and then it's something that kind of became a lifestyle for a good few months up until I had got my son recently. So I slowed down on it a bit. But I've learned so much from Coach Marcus about jujitsu, about the discipline of it. And I'm more than welcome and happy to have you on the show, man.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Means a lot.
Of course. All right, man. So let's just dive right into it. So you grew up in DC, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about what DC looked like for you, man.
So I grew up in Southeast Washington, DC, on Southern Avenue. Was there born and raised. I probably moved about when I was like 15, 16 years old. But
Hmm.
like DC at that time, it was coming up during the 80s and 90s. So it was kind of hectic. If you know that area in South, especially the South Side, like South
Yeah.
Side everywhere is hood. Everywhere.
Yeah.
South Side, if they have a Martin Luther King Avenue, it's hood.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We got one of those in Salisbury.
See it.
Yeah,
So,
familiar.
but I mean, to a lot of people on the outside, it might seem like scary, a little dangerous hood and all that. But to us, it was home, right? So we in it,
Hmm.
we see it every day. So it wasn't nothing too crazy. It was normal to us. And then during that time, it was during the crack era, like in the 80s and stuff.
Wow.
So it was kind of bad. And then two, we had the nickname the murder capital. Now, like I said, if you know DC is super small. You go 20 minutes this way, you in Maryland. You go 20 minutes that way, you in Virginia. So it's
Right.
not like very big. So for it to be a murder capital, it was a lot going on. You get what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that's crazy. Yeah.
So so that's basically how it was growing up. But it was just regular kid life, getting into trouble, hanging out with the friends,
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah. No, I can definitely relate. Like, so like being growing up in Salisbury, I'm from Salisbury, North Carolina, and like we call it the nickname of it is Shotsbury because it's always a bunch of shootings happening there, right? And Salisbury again is small, like how you mentioned DC is, and
Yeah,
it's like, well, if it's got a nickname called Shotsbury, that means that a lot is happening in this
not
small
going
town.
on. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, but like growing up there, you don't really kind of realize I guess how bad it is until you get out of there, and then you get some exposure to some nicer areas, and you like, man, like, yeah, where I'm from, it's trouble. Like you don't recognize that time, especially as a kid, because you're not really paying attention to those things. But I can definitely relate when you say that, like, yeah, like it's a bad area, and growing up there, like it was home though. It was
Yeah,
home. So it's all you knew, man.
yeah. My,
Um,
my father from out there. Well, not Salisbury, right?
yeah, Salisbury,
Not from
like the
there.
steak.
That's what I was thinking about.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
But yeah, my father, they from Indian Trail in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm familiar with that area. Yeah,
Yes,
that's what's up.
I've been down there a few times. It's
Okay,
country down there.
it's country. It's you know, it's a little country. It's a little country. We got a little city, some
Uh-huh.
parts, but a lot of country.
Yeah, it's cool out there though. I liked it. I liked it.
Compared to DC, is definitely country.
Yeah. Hell yeah, yeah.
What kind of things did you get into in like in your upbringing, like whenever you were in DC?
Well, it was always something to do. You get what I'm saying? Like, especially as a boy growing up and your parents let you go outside with your friends and things like that. So it was always getting into something like not crazy stuff, especially growing up, but it was a lot of fighting, man. A lot of I think every friend that I had, we probably fought at least once before we became best friends. Like that's how crazy it was. It was just I don't know, fighting was the thing to do, especially if you was bored.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, you know what I'm saying? And then of course you had the bullying and stuff out there and things like that. So it was like I fought a lot. It was more to prove that I couldn't get bullied, so to say. You get what I'm saying? Because there was a lot of
Yeah.
that out there, and especially where I lived at, it was a building, it was a mixture of people in there. So you have people like say you have people on this side in the apartment that doing way better than you, have a government job, like making money. But then you have some crackheads in the apartment next, you know what I'm saying, on the other side of you. So the
Yeah.
building was kind of mixed with everybody. But surrounding us, we had a bunch of projects and things like that. So the kids in the projects and stuff, they used to come over a lot and try to mess with us, bully us, you know what I'm saying? Things like that.
Yeah.
So because we, like I said, in my building, you had some like middle class people, you know what I'm saying? Like with
Mm-hmm.
decent jobs and stuff like that. And then for them kids to see you dressed a certain way or something like that, they want what you got. You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it was a lot of that out there.
That's interesting, man. Like, I guess that idea of like, kids, I guess trying to look at it from their perspective, they seeing that it looks like to them you're better than them. So in a way
Mhm.
to make themselves feel better, they try and like fight you to kind of like, I guess, kind of show some kind of dominance or show that they are better than you. And a lot of times they are actually thinking the opposite.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Exactly.
man.
And a lot of that stuff, like I always say, a lot of that being quick to fight and all that, it comes from some type of insecurity. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like mine, I was that skinny, light skinned, pretty boy. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And where another name for DC was called Chocolate City. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Hmm.
like that's a hub where all black people at. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So then growing up like light skin and stuff like that, they saw that as you being a little softer. So I think I had that chip on my shoulder where like I'm gonna show that I can't be bullied, right?
Right.
So not all the time I start stuff, but it was times I can't say I was innocent. Like
Yeah. I mean, you
I was
grew
out
up
there.
that. Well, I say now you at a setting where you do this for a living, so you had to start some fights.
And then one thing like my mother told me too that stuck with me for a long time is like you can't let people like you don't go out there looking for trouble and all that, but you can't just let people treat you any type of way because if one person treats you a certain way, everybody else that's watching think they're gonna do the same thing. And that was something that I wasn't having. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I was figuring out like even if I lose this fight, y'all not gonna want to fight me because you saw what he had to go through just to beat me up. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I'll
Yeah.
bite a
Yeah.
ear off or something. You know what I'm saying? Nothing with me or something.
Yeah.
But it was
You,
cool. It was fun out there.
I think it's an interesting, definitely interesting that like colorism. was a thing. And then like there's different types of colorism everywhere you go. So you speak about like how you were light skinned and that's why you got bullied. But like where I grew up, like you got bullied a lot if you were dark skinned. Like you heard a whole lot of terms like African booty scratcher and blackie, things like that. So it's like you kind of felt ashamed or less attractive by just being darker where I grew up.
Yep.
You know, and it's I think that's weird, not necessarily weird, but just kind of interesting. Like in DC, in the time when you were growing up, it's like if you were light skinned, that's a reason why you can get bullied just for being different. And even I think it's even strange now because we see it a lot today and we hear about it a lot today and experience it. But it's we already divide ourselves because of race,
Mm,
unfortunately. So why do we have to take it a step further in our own culture and our own color and make the division even further? I think that is so backwards because it's just going right along the lines of continuing to de- destruct our minds and our unity that we could have, and we're just tearing each other down because of what we look like. And I
yeah,
just think that's just like, and it's just seeing like how you grew up in the 80s and 90s. This is just something that has probably always had gone on, and has gone on since slavery, and you had the house slaves and the field slaves,
yeah.
you
That's
know.
where
And
it
I just
started. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
I just hate that.
that's where it started. And I think too, and this is happening to this day. Like I feel like people think it's a little bit easier, like black on black stuff. They think it's a little easier because you go mess with this white kid or something, you think you're gonna get in trouble.
Yeah,
Whereas like you get in fights and stuff like that with your own and stuff like that, people ain't caring about that little black boy that you know what I'm saying, them little black boys, they
yeah,
fighting each other, they killing each other or whatever, that's cool. But you do something to one of these white kids over there, nah.
yeah.
You
It's
know
a
what I'm
whole
saying?
different world of trouble.
So it
Yeah.
was kind of easy. And then like I said, those insecurities, like you saying where you from, it was switched a little bit. So like even the dark skinned ones, they couldn't do that to other people. So they picked like the light skin, you know what I'm saying, guys, and be like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I'm gonna bully him or I'm gonna take that out on him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Somebody talked about me being dark skinned, I'm gonna get on this light skinned dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's
And
facts though.
but like I said, like I was one of those. I ain't win every fight, but it was like I think I had that chip on my shoulder. Like I wanted to prove something. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I mean, I'm still here. I didn't. I was smart.
He's like, hey, look, we made it. We made
Yeah,
it.
you know what I'm saying?
We made it through Chocolate City.
Hey, you got hell yeah,
I
hell
feel you
yeah.
though. So do you think kind of like um along with just like how you looked, but maybe kind of like how you were living, because you say like you were kind of more part of that more middle class area. Do you think
Yeah,
that's another reason why you were like kind of targeted and susceptible to bullying and things?
a little bit, a little bit. Cause I had friends like man, I had friends that was doing like way better than me. You get what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
so it was, and then I had friends that was doing bad. You get what I'm saying? So I had a mixture of people, and I would say, yeah, you get that a lot because in that environment, you had a lot of people struggling. You get what I'm saying?
Hmm.
You had people without their parents. You had people like parents working at night to provide, so the kids left at home, so they out doing whatever they doing. You get what I'm saying? Like you had a lot of that. You had that's why my mother ended up putting me in a private school. Like we wore uniforms. You get what I'm saying? Kids was
Hmm.
getting killed for their Jordans. They was getting killed for their the starter jackets. And matter of fact, the most popular ones was the Charlotte ones, the Charlotte Hornet
Of course, of
starter
course.
jackets. Those were the most popular ones out there at that time. But people were getting killed. Kids were getting killed for that. You know what I'm saying? So it was crazy. Like you couldn't splurge too much. You get what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Because then you really become a target. So it was
I'm
that balance.
I'm interested to know kind of like, I guess if you can remember in your eyes of your past, like in the eyes of your past, like what did all of that look like and mean to you? You know, like as an adolescent or even as a kid, kind of just seeing like so much violence over the material things?
Yeah, that's a good question. Like I said, it was normal. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't really see that stuff until you on the outside looking in. You get what I'm
Yeah,
saying? When you in it, it's kind of like jujitsu and wrestling. Like when you're in it, it looks like this. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? To a person on
yeah.
the outside, but it looks like this when you're in it. You know what I'm
As
saying?
a
Because
whole, yeah.
you're in it. So I think it was crazy. Of course, it was nonsense. It sucked. You get what I'm saying? But it was like something that was normal. Like it was
Mm-hmm.
normal. Like some places nobody's seen a crackhead before, but it was normal to walk on my apartment and share elevator going downstairs with a crackhead. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it was just normal as a kid. So you don't see how crazy it was until I started moving. When I started
Mm-hmm.
moving and traveling, I was like, wow, DC was crazy. And then you start seeing things like back in the day how it was in the 80s and 90s, then you like, hold on, I was there during that time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I didn't feel it like that. But then you see it like you can look it up on YouTube and stuff, and you be like, dang, it was like that. Like I was
right.
in
Yeah.
a lot of things I had to handle myself, and I had to, like I said, that insecurity. I felt like I had to build a certain reputation. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Not a hardcore street dude, but somebody that was really willing to throw down. Because bullies don't like
Yeah,
a
don't
person
mess
that's
with
on
me.
fight. You get what I'm saying? They
Yeah.
don't like that.
I I think I think that is I grew up feeling the kind of like the same way, like um in a way where that kind of violence happens and you hear about it or you might be close to it and you're just so desensitized to it.
Yeah.
And I think that that is happening too often around the world today, where we see some news or hear about some news, especially through social media. Because I feel like more negative things get pushed out on social media today than positive things. Um, but we hear that and we are so desensitized to it. So like a school shooting could happen and we could be like, "Ah, man, that sucks," but you don't really feel
Mm.
that loss, like those kids that were in that, what that means to the survivors, the trauma that they
Yeah.
have to live through, the parents that lost their kids or the husband that lost his wife, those type of things. And I don't think we take enough time today in the world to really empathize with that. Even things that happen overseas, like if it happened, what happened in Ukraine, like
Yeah.
the like Russia had went into there and kind of like made a mess of things, right?
Yeah.
And over here, we're just kind of like, well, it's not over here like that. It's
Yeah.
unfortunate, but it doesn't affect us. And it's like, well, think about what is going through those people's minds, and like along the ladder, how it can affect us, what it does mean to us. You know what I mean? So like, I think today we need to take a little bit more time and empathize with the losses that don't directly affect us.
Mhm.
And even though the losses and the things that our friends and family go through, take that time to connect with them a little bit more and try to really feel them, because a lot of times um we just let it go. We don't really take that time to feel them in that moment and be present with them and the emotions that they're feeling. So that's
Yeah.
the kind of a little bit of a tangent, but it just made me think, like, man, I grew up so desensitized to the violence that was around me.
It's about, yeah, like you said, about having that empathy for others. Because I think we think so much about ourselves all the time. And like you
Hmm.
said, something else happened. You're like, well, it's not here, or at least it wasn't me, or you know what I'm saying,
Right.
or things like that, instead of just understanding, like, damn, that's messed up. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Having that
Yeah.
empathy. So, yeah, I agree with that.
A question I kind of just thought of,
Mm.
like, so it sounds like maybe you weren't bullied a lot, but you definitely had experience like with bullies and things. I think bullying happens at all levels. For
Yeah.
some reason, kids obviously they do it for inclusion in the field, into kind of drop insecurities, or to project what they're going through at home. What would you tell kids and adults that are experiencing what it's like to be bullied, whether that's at school, at the workplace, things like that?
talk to someone. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times I feel like a lot of people think they're alone. And if you have someone to talk to that can like show that empathize with you, like we're saying, like someone you can like express your feelings to, talk to, you know what I'm saying? Like I think that would really help people that's going through things like that.
Yeah.
Because it can be hard. Like I said, I think that's the biggest thing when people feel alone. When you feel alone, it's like nobody cares about you. You know what I'm saying? That's when people get
Yeah.
into those suicidal thoughts and all that. Nobody cares
Mm-hmm.
if I'm here or gone anyway. So, but if you have
Mm-hmm.
someone to talk to, but you have to open up, because a lot of times, especially for people, um, how to say it, like especially more for men. I say more for men because we have to, well, we're supposed to be the tough guys, the protectors, the this and that. So even if we're dealing with, especially like younger, if you're dealing with it, you are afraid to talk about it because
Mm-hmm.
now you seem like a victim. Now you seem soft. Now you seem like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
but when you're alone, you're suffering. But when you get
Yeah.
around people, you like, man, it's all good and all that stuff. So we gotta open up more. You know what I'm saying? And I go for
Mm-hmm.
kids and adults. Like just open up, have someone to talk to and share it with someone. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Get it off your chest and then like remove yourself from that situation. Like that'll be the first thing. Like if you could remove yourself from that situation that is happening in the first place.
Right.
If you can't, then you got to figure out a way. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
To work it out with that person. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they going through something. Like that's another thing with the empathy thing that I feel like we think so much of ourselves, we don't think what another person could be going through. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like
Even
he
if it's
might
our
be
bully.
bullying me, but because he going through something at home, he don't have nobody
Mm-hmm.
to talk to, so he got to take it out on you.
Right.
You get what
That's
I'm
how
saying?
he's projecting his feelings.
Exactly. That
Because
happens a lot.
Yeah, because they don't know how to communicate, and you brought up an excellent point in saying that we have to be the ones to kind of open up, like we have to come out of our shells. And the hardest thing I think for us to do is to be the ones to be vulnerable. Especially, I think that's the case whenever we become adults, because we've already learned to be quiet about our struggles and what we're going through, not just bullies, but like life things in life. Um, so I think that that's where it begins with our youth and teaching them, especially our little boys, because like you mentioned, like we grow up to be as men and prideful and feel like we have to carry the weight of all these burdens and go through it alone.
Yeah,
And I think it starts with the youth and teaching them like, hey, open up, speak about these things. Um, and just talk. Like you're not the only one going through something. Like
yeah,
nobody is going through something for the first time. And there's somebody in this world that has gone through the exact same thing that you're going through.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's why I said, yeah, like you said, opening up and talking to people. Because you
Mm-hmm.
never know who you're talking to. Like, of course, someone you trust. You know what I'm saying? Talking to somebody you trust and all that. But they might have been through that too. You know what I'm saying? They might can show you a way to handle it. Because
Exactly.
the worst thing you can do is hold everything in. I was a victim of that. You know what I'm saying? I learned
Yeah.
the hard way of just holding things in, and then something small happened, and then you blow up, and everybody was like, "Man, that was petty." Nah, it's all this other stuff that I was
Right.
holding. You know what I'm saying? And carrying with me. That little pebble just was the end. You know what I'm saying? Of everything.
Exactly.
So we gotta learn to
Eh,
open up, talk more, express ourselves more.
right. That's like that reminds me of the saying, the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah,
You know what I
exactly,
mean? So
exactly.
that's an excellent point. And speaking on like handling stress and things like that, what were some of your outlets that you had like now growing up? What did you find yourself? What were things that helped you whenever you found yourself in those situations?
It was always like something physical, like martial arts, sports, working out. You get what I'm saying? Like when I was little, I say, how old was that? I might have been about, I don't know, 7, 8, 9, something like that. My stepfather, he was a bodybuilder. So he used to like always be in the gym lifting and, you know what I'm saying, taking the protein powder, all that type stuff. And my
Yeah.
mother, she was always into like Tabo. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Doing her, punching, kicking her. So I was always exposed to that, right? So it
Hmm.
was like that was my outlet, I think. I was always into something, whether it was outside playing football with friends, middle school running track, getting into martial arts. My mother put me into that karate school. You know what I'm saying? Like I was always into something physical. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it was it was because of my ADD or something, like had to always be into something, but I think that's how I handle it. And I do it to this day. Like gym is like my therapy. Like people be like, how can you be in the gym for like 2 hours working out? It's my
Yeah.
therapy. Like, like people pay for therapy and stuff like that. Well,
Go
now
to the
I used
gym.
to pay to go to a gym, but now I work in a gym. Like I could just go in there and just lift, be in my
Yeah.
zone, phones on, listen to an audio book or something like that, and be in my zone and don't think about nothing else.
Yeah. I like how there's so many different ways of um burning out energy and what that can do for you. So like for you it's like going to the gym, and very much the same with me. It's like just getting that putting that physical stress on my body to take that mental stress off my mind.
Fact.
Um and but then there's so many other people that do things like create music, or practice an instrument, or read or write. And I think that it's just, I think the beautiful thing about people is coming across them and finding out all of these unique ways that they express themselves in whatever emotion that they're feeling, positive or negative, and seeing the product of it, and seeing your work from what you've done as a kid and then what you've built into now. And that's fighting, something that's like you grow up and that's something that's kind of frowned upon. And you are supposed to be deterred from that. Uh but you have made a career out of it and are teaching kids that there's an organized fighting that you can become a part of to release that energy, that you can become great at this art or science, however you want to, whatever you want to call it, um out of something that society has looked down upon, but
Yeah,
yet we praise it whenever we see it as entertainment. You know
and
what I mean?
it's funny because, well, I don't know why my mother put me into it, karate and stuff, but I was excited, to be honest. I was excited to be in it because I was like, I told you I was wild. I was fighting a lot at that time. I was like, oh, I'm gonna learn some cool stuff and go hit this dude, and you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
or axe kick or something, right? But
Yeah.
it's weird because once you get to training and stuff, you fight less. Like I fought less when I started training martial arts, and I think it was for two reasons. One, because we're always training. You get what I'm saying? So you
Hmm.
tired.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You tired.
Yeah.
So you don't feel like fighting, you know what I'm saying? And then two, you know what you can do. You know what I'm saying? A lot of like
Yeah.
when you know what you can do, it's like it's easier to walk away from it versus you thinking you gotta be tough and gotta do this and that. So
That's
that was
yeah.
weird. I thought I was gonna fight more. Now I feel weight
Yeah.
when I started training.
You were preaching to the choir when you said that you already know what you can do, because after you like get those skills, it's like I don't have anything to prove to you. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like fighting you means more to you now than it does to me.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
like I'm not getting as much out of it, because especially if I know I'm training this and you're not, it's like this is something that I know. And just to be like blunt, it's just something I'm better than you at.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like now I want to, like, let's be, I like once I was wrestling and even joined the army, for what that's worth, but I became more diplomatic. Like I'm not going to, we don't have to get physical. Especially now that I'm an adult,
yeah,
like I don't have like anything to prove to you. Like in elementary school and middle school, to me, like it was always fighting, because that's like what the boys did,
yeah.
to kind of like fit in, to be a part of a group, and
Mm.
unfortunately I fell victim to that in elementary and middle school. Um and then whenever I started wrestling, and I got just more mature, it's like I know what I'm capable of, and like I've hurt people in my past, but they're just doing the same thing that I'm doing. Like I've heard people wrestling and they're just as equally trained as I am. So imagine what I could do to you and you have no background in this.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so it's like, nah,
Exactly.
like I don't get what I used to get out of it because I know where I'm at with it now, you know?
Mm.
So I felt you 100% when you said that.
Yeah, and that's true. Like that's crazy. But it's like you learning, you become more humble. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mm,
you know, like you learn that you can't beat everybody. There's always going to be somebody that could beat you. Always
yeah.
somebody that can be better. You might win this round, but then this person whip your ass, and then you win that round. You get what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah.
like you humble. So you leave like with that sense of I have nothing to prove. Because at
Hmm.
the end of the day, all that fighting, all that violence, all is proving something. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Prove
And
stuff.
and to kind of caveat off of a point made earlier, like you have made a career out of doing something that you kind of like did as a kid as a way of defending yourself, right?
Hmm.
And it's like I think like back then you saw a whole lot more fights. In my opinion, I think gun violence has rose um a lot through more of my childhood. I seen a lot more gun violence than I did like a lot of people like fist fighting and things like that. And
Hmm.
I think that is unique that even today, like you if you are trying to live that lifestyle and you're like into like guns and doing the shooting stuff, you can literally also make a career out of shooting, not like shooting people, but you can do things like go to the range and you can compete
Hmm.
in shooting just as the same way that you can in fighting. So
Yeah.
there's so many different approaches. Like if you felt like that you didn't have a skill set to do anything, but you do this thing that's kind of frowned upon in society, I'm sure that there's a career path or somewhere you can go to kind of like release that energy or go practice that skill. You know what I mean? So like I know people being in the military, I work with military police right now.
Hmm.
I know a lot of people that literally just go to the range whenever they get upset. They just go to the range. Like the same way how I would just go to practice or something and
Uh-huh.
then and that's what they do. And I think that that's so, like I was saying earlier, it's so unique in how many in the different ways people express themselves. I think that is always an avenue to take something that people are kind of deterred from being a part of in
Uh-huh.
society and making a lifestyle out of it, whether it's a hobby, something you practice, a career, things like that.
And right now it's a little bit easier now because I know you're a lot younger than me, so you don't remember when it was no internet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
coming up with no internet in the hood, it's like you only know that, right? But it's
Right.
like now it's so easy to Google something like that. Like if you like shooting and all that stuff, so easy to Google some stuff. You know what I'm saying about shooting or where the nearest range or this and that. Back then growing up, you had to know somebody. You know what I'm saying? It was more like you had to
Yeah.
know somebody that was in it or around it or something like that. I think that's why martial arts was so big where I'm from because all the kids was fighting and stuff, and it was so easy to here you go to this gym. You know what I'm saying? Like let them beat
Yeah.
you up in there, so the humble you type thing. So
Yeah.
and then everybody think they tough. They come in the gym talking about, like, hey, you trained before? Nah, not professionally, but I got like I'm 100 in the streets. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
another one.
Yeah. That's a good point though, man. The internet, I think internet and the social media is such a fantastic tool to connect and find these resources. And I think like there's more exposure on how it's not used correctly or how it could be used better. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So like it's just it is easier today to find those things to be a part of, but people wouldn't take the time. The problem
Yeah.
now is people.
Uh-huh.
It's not the lack of technology. Now it's people.
People.
People rather be in trouble.
Uh-huh. Exactly. Exactly.
So let's go all the way back to the beginning. What was your initial introduction into combat sports or MMA?
So I got into it. I was like I said, I at the time I got first started training martial arts, it was at this karate school, but it was a mix. It was like karate mixed with taekwondo mixed with kung fu. Like I don't know what you call that, but we
Wow.
did a little
Yeah.
bit of all that, right? But we competed at karate tournaments. So, but so I don't know why my mother put me in it because at that time I wanted to play football like my other friends. My friends were playing football and all that stuff, so I wanted to do that. But she pushed me towards that, so I was like, okay. And I had a friend that I grew up in the building with. He was already doing it at that fighting at that school, so I was like, all right, cool. But I was a huge fan of Bruce Lee growing up, a huge fan of Bruce Lee. So I thought it'd be cool anyway. So and it was good. I did it for like a year and a half, I think. You know what I'm saying? I did like probably like 3 tournaments or something. But I remember my first tournament. This would really woke me up because I thought I was all that. You know what I'm saying? Went to the tournament. Man, this little girl whipped my ass. Like this little girl, I swear I remember it to this day. I got second place. It was like a big bracket of people. I got second, but I lost in the finals to that little girl. She was short, but man, she could kick. So, so I remember I went back to the gym. I was all in after that one. Like I was like, I
Yeah.
want that feeling again.
Yeah.
I don't
That
want that.
remind me. That remind me that my first jujitsu tournament when I lost.
But yeah,
I said I was determined. I'm going back in the gym, man. Ain't no way. Ain't no way, man. I can't believe this. I was mad. I said, man, I've
uh-huh.
been practicing. I couldn't believe it. But yeah, nah, that's what's
That's what I
up
tell
though.
kids a lot. Like everybody doesn't have to practice. I mean, compete and stuff. But the ones that compete, they progress way faster because they know what's out there. Versus like a lot of people, they train and they go against each other, and especially kids. They just know like they coming in with that attitude of, all right, I'm gonna beat you up today and all this stuff. And I constantly tell them like, y'all here to help each other get better, not
Hmm.
necessarily just come in and beat each other up. Because
Right.
when they go to the tournament and they see, okay, now it's us against them. It's bigger to them now. The team is bigger because they was like, okay, I don't see you as an enemy now in practice. I see
Hmm.
us getting each other ready to go beat them. You get what I'm saying? So,
Exactly.
like competing and stuff, and it humbles you. Like you could be a beast in practice, beating up your teammates. You go out there, you lose. You like what?
Yeah. Real talk.
He like I know.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. That's real. What does it mean to you when you compete?
I'm a very competitive person, and like even when I started jujitsu and stuff like that, I didn't think I got in more for the self defense stuff. You get what I'm saying? I got in more for like what I saw the Gracies were doing for self defense for actual fights. That's why I like
Yeah.
I that's why I was more interested in MMA than sport jujitsu. I just got into jujitsu so late and MMA so late that I was like I kind of missed that window to compete in MMA. But when I saw that, man, you got like 80-year-olds doing jujitsu competing, I was like, all right, I'll do that. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Yeah.
jump in there because it's still that competitiveness. It's still a sport that I can do. I grew up striking most of the time. You know what I'm saying? Like from like my teenage years to like I say about 29 or something, I was more of a striker, boxing,
Yeah.
kickboxing, things like that. So, but it was like it's but so long you can do that as you get older, getting hit in the head and all that stuff. But grappling,
Right.
it was just something that I loved about that. But when I got into competing, it was more to be a better coach, I say. Like to be
Mm.
honest, like yeah, you set your goals to be a champion, this and that, but it was more about me learning and going out here and doing it, and then coming back and teaching my students. Okay, forget the theory. This is what's gonna happen. You guys,
Right.
when you go for this, in theory, your head gonna be on this side, but nah, your head gonna be on this side, and they gonna catch you in that guillotine. So we
Yeah.
got, you know what I'm saying? You got to do this and do that. It was more like that, and I just competed a lot. Like from white belt to I say brown belt, I competed a lot in jujitsu, and it was more for that because I was coaching since I was a white belt. You know what I'm saying? Like I was a white
Hmm.
belt coaching, so and I progressed so fast. You know what I'm saying? Like I progressed
Yeah.
really fast to the point that competition was more just experience for me to get better. Because even my
Right.
coach told me at the beginning, he was like, people that compete progress way faster than the people that don't compete. So it was more just getting that technique down, getting that experience, and just being a better coach.
So you spoke about like how you practice a lot or competed a lot really to kind of help with your teaching.
Mm.
What when did you start teaching? Like what first got you interested in doing that?
I, I almost feel like I got tricked into teaching. Like I never saw myself as like a coach. I
Yeah.
just I just saw myself as just wanting to compete. You know what I'm saying? Like it was something like I said, you asked me earlier how to handle stress. That was my stress relief. Just
Yeah.
training. I was just always in the gym. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just now I get paid to do what I used to do for free. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's all it is. Or I used to pay to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now I get paid to do it. But it's like I was training, I was a white belt. I think I was like a 3 stripe white belt or something. And at the gym I was training at I was a white belt, but they even had me training in the advanced class, like with the blue belts and up. Like I was
Hmm.
like the only white belt in there. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I was training like 2 to 3 hours a day. You get what I'm saying? To the point, one of the kids coaches had left or something, and they didn't have nobody else. And it was like, "Hey, Marcus, can you cover this class?" I was like, "All right, why not?" So then,
Right.
next thing you know, I was the kids coach. I was the
Yeah.
coach until I ended up having to move and stuff. But I was like, so I feel like, I mean, it was a blessing in disguise, though. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
what I do now. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
all that experience. But I never thought, to be honest, I never thought I'd be a coach. I never thought I'd be opening the gym. You know what I'm saying? Like I never thought none of that. It was in God's
It-
plan. Like it was there.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It was all mapped out.
It
I
was.
I think I said this on a previous show on the podcast, but like you are a walking example of this quote that I think about daily when it comes to like my purpose, and that is um the purpose of life is to find your gift, but the reason of life is to give that gift away. And like you literally do that every day. And I think that that is like a beautiful thing because some people can be so selfish and only looking for something that they're good at and trying to figure out why they're here and what they're supposed to be doing with themselves and their time. Um and not really thinking about what it means to know what you are good at and to share that with the world,
Yeah.
because in sharing that we're helping everybody else grow, and I think that's everybody's purpose in life is to kind of go through experiences and teach other people that haven't gone through those experiences or are going through those experiences for the first time how to manage and how to get through them. And I love that that is something that you're doing, is you found something that you loved and you're so passionate about, and that you're sharing that with the youth, with the adult class that you have. And I think that that's powerful.
Yeah, I think yeah, I agree with you. I think that's why we're here. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like we have certain gifts and stuff and like you gotta share it. You know what I'm saying? You gotta
Hmm.
pass it on. Like I always believe in like having a legacy, leaving a legacy. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
just giving back. Like giving back. Like to be honest, 'cause even like my goal is to get to the point where I don't know, like I can get big enough or have the opportunity to even go back to where I'm from. You get what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
those are the people that I mean, I connect to everybody, but the people that you really connect to because you know exactly what they're going through. When
Their
kids growing up,
experience.
you know the environment, you know what they're
Hmm.
going through, you know their struggles, you know their pain. You get what I'm saying? So, and sometimes they don't have that outlet. Even if they got a coach or something like that, they don't have that coach that know what they're going through. You get what I'm
Hmm.
saying? It's kind of like a politician coming to the hood that don't know nothing about the hood, trying to come
Yep.
to the hood, shake hands, hug
And
babies. You know what I
relate.
mean? Just to know.
Yeah.
Versus somebody that been from the hood, came out of the hood, and is in that position, and then come back. You
Yep.
connect with those people way more. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
See it now. with the
I
kids
want to
out
do
here,
that.
even adults, you know what I'm saying, that was into certain things or got certain backgrounds or in trouble and stuff like that. But they connect to me in a way because even though I've changed a lot, I'm matured and changed a lot and all that, I still know where they coming from. I still been there, done that. You know what I'm saying? Probably did it worse. You get what I'm saying? So it's like
Yeah.
I understand where you're coming from, and now I can speak from a place that you feel that connection with me. It's not
Yep.
just somebody just telling you what you should be doing and all that stuff, but it's like, okay, Mark has been there. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like maybe, okay, I see what he's doing. I want to be able to change like that. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I got a lot of friends from back home that hit me up all the time that talk about, man, proud of you, homie. You get what I'm saying? Like you came along with for what you doing now. Proud of you, man. You motivated
Yeah.
me. You know what I'm saying? Like to go
Yeah.
to the gym, to do this, to do that. Man, I ain't know what jujitsu was, but I'm looking at it in this gym now. Like
Yeah, man.
it's just, and
That's what.
that's what I like. I like hearing things like that. You get what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, for
that's like
sure.
I said, that's our purpose.
That's what I want to do too, man. Is I want to go back home and and make a difference in my community from back home, man. Because this is, and I was just about to say this, and it's crazy that you brought it up because I was gonna say I know so many kids back home that love fighting, like get in trouble all the time, like similar to like how you explain how you were just fighting all the time. Like these like kids now, just back home fighting for no reason, just fighting. It's like, man, if I could get them into a class like this, because I don't know that there is like an opportunity like this back where I'm from. You know what it would mean to like for somebody to start that kind of gym or that kind of program or mentorship? It's like, oh, you like fighting? Well, come over here and do this. You know what I mean? Like really, really take them out of something where they feel so negative and make them feel more positive around like the skill set that they're utilizing.
Yeah.
And
For
I
sure.
would love to do that.
Cause I know a gym out there. Um, After the podcast, like let me know exactly like your area out there, and I might could put
Hmm.
you onto a gym if you know anybody, like any kids or adults that want to train jujitsu and stuff like that. I know one gym out there, but I don't know
Yeah,
how close it would be to where you from. But yeah, just let me know. I'll see what's up.
of course, man. Of course. So, what opportunities you already said a lot of opportunities that MMA has brought to you, but if you could just list some like some things that you felt like would have never happened if it wasn't for
Yeah,
you taking your life down this road.
shoot. My bad for cursing. I don't know if
No,
I
you you
keep, keep
you
cursing.
good. Nah, you good. You good.
One thing, one thing is the people you meet. Like a lot of people that I meet, I swear, like I wouldn't know if it wasn't for like martial arts. I wouldn't know. Like I know lawyers, doctors, policemen, strippers. Like I'm talking about everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
everybody trains. You get what I'm saying? So it's like you meet so many people, have so many connections. A lot of people like if it wasn't for martial arts, I would never met them. You get what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
as you know, like in life, connections are everything. Especially if you're in business and stuff like that. Like connections are everything. Who you know. You know what I'm saying? It's not all about what you know, but who you know that can put you in those positions and help you and
Right.
things like that. And martial arts, it puts you in that position. You meet so many people. You get what I'm saying?
Wow.
Like I
Yeah.
took if it wasn't for martial arts, that was experience with the I took Army combatives. It was level 1, but that was a cool experience for me. You know what I'm saying? To train with the soldiers and stuff. Even though I was a white belt, like I said at that time, I was good. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
they even had me teach things the instructor had me teach things in the class, and it was a good experience. Like, but I would have never had that experience if it wasn't for martial arts. When I moved
Yeah.
in Korea, I was teaching at the combative gym on base. You know what I'm saying? The army. I
Wow.
was teaching soldiers and stuff on base in Korea. It would have never happened. You get what I'm saying? Like the people
Mm-hmm.
that you meet, it would have never happened if it wasn't for martial arts. So that was like a cool experience. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then just traveling. Now I travel more because of jujitsu than any other, you know what I'm saying, reason. Which
Yeah.
that's bad because I need to start just taking trips, you know what I'm saying, for my
Yeah.
own
Vacation.
sanity. Yeah. but it was always because of jujitsu. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, I love that, man. I asked that question because some people may have these interests in these things that feel like they won't get anything out of it if they pursue that goal or that dream, right? Like so like somebody that's an artist, right? Like a painter or something of the sorts. They feel like, man, like I really love doing this, but I may not get nothing out of it. And you doing something that's kind of like I mentioned, maybe frowned upon in society, like in your upbringing type thing. You doing something like that and knowing that you have done so many amazing things by pursuing that dream, pursuing that goal. So like my message to those people would be like, dude, like if you really care and you're really passionate and for doing the hard work and the grit of it, dude, just do it. Do it because the doors will open. You will meet those people. You will be presented with those opportunities, and we're just ordinary people. Like I love bringing like people, I guess you could say, that aren't like famously known on the show
Mm-hmm.
or like super popular on social media. And if you have gotten those things out of what you do, what makes the person that's watching or listening to this any different? You know
Exactly.
what I
That's why
mean?
I wanted to get on this at the early stages before you blow up and be all popular and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I want to make sure I get in early.
Hey, look, man, we shooting for the stars, but we shooting for the stars, but if we
I ain't
can
gonna
make it
get
into
in
the
on
air,
this,
we all
but
right.
when he blow up and stuff, I'm gonna be playing this on YouTube. I was in
All
the
right.
early stages.
Yeah, look, I was one of the first.
Mhm.
uh,
But yeah, you meet a
no,
lot of people. Just like people go play golf and join these country clubs and stuff. Man, join jujitsu. You get what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like you meet these people, like man, you never know who you're gonna meet. It's just you got to get over that uncomfortableness of grappling and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
It's uncomfortable to some people, but other than that, it ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
it's cool, man. It's cool.
Let me ask you, what direction do you see MMA going into and jujitsu, the role of jujitsu in MMA?
As far as where MMA is going, I mean, MMA is growing like a lot, like at a fast pace, especially like in El Paso alone. Like when I came out here, it was just mostly jujitsu. Like people, and jujitsu was just growing when I first, like I've been out here for like what, 7, 8 years. Jujitsu was kind of just growing. Like we didn't even have that many black belts. I think it was only like two maybe when I first came here. Now it's like 20. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And then so MMA is like really taking, like I say the past like maybe 2, 3 years, MMA out here is just taking off. Everybody's doing it now. Everybody's into MMA. Like I told you, the style of jujitsu that I was into was more for street fighting and MMA. You get what I'm saying? So it's like everything happens for a reason because you got the sport jujitsu and then you got the jujitsu that I'm talking about, like for MMA and stuff like that, for fighting.
Hmm.
Now everyone's coming around to that. And it kind of opened up the door for me in the style that I teach because I'm like, okay, finally, like the sporty stuff is cool and all that stuff, but finally the style that got me into MMA and got me into that love of it is coming around. But it's
Hmm.
still unknown because people don't understand jujitsu for MMA. They just see that sport jujitsu that you do this, you're gonna get punched in the face. You get what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And it's just like any other thing. Like you got jujitsu for self defense, jujitsu for MMA. You get what I'm saying? Like, and you got jujitsu versus jujitsu, the sport jujitsu.
Hmm.
So people don't know those switches because every gym now is like a sport jujitsu gym. You're just learning the sporty stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, it turns people off because they like, I don't want to, everybody just wants to fight from their back. And they think jujitsu is just fighting from your back, and it's not.
Not
If
at
you
all.
watch the early Gracies and all that, they were on top unless they got put on the bottom. You know what I'm saying? But then that's why I say jujitsu is one of the most well rounded grappling arts there is because not just on top, but you can fight on the bottom if you have to. But I think
Right.
we lost the goal of it. Everybody just want to go for submissions from the bottom, whereas your goal should be reversing and getting on top. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That should be your main goal, is getting on top. Even in MMA fights, you can be on the bottom throwing submissions, not taking no damage, but then you'll still lose that round because the judges just see the person on top. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Even though they didn't do much, they was on top, they won that round. So
Yep.
I
And it
think the
looked
mindset
control.
of jujitsu people have to change in order for them to be successful in MMA. So MMA is growing so much, jujitsu has to involve with it too.
Mm-hmm.
And what I've always said, we have to really add that wrestling to it. Wrestling, if you really take the jujitsu submissions and stuff and wrestling, put it together, jujitsu
Unstoppable.
be a beast. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Jujitsu is gonna be a beast. Even the dude Islam in the UFC, he said that because the Russian dude, he said a lot of jujitsu people suck. You know what I'm saying? In UFC and all that stuff. But then he was like, but if you get a jujitsu guy to learn wrestling, oh, they're gonna be one of the most dominant people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's how the Russians doing it from Dagestan and all that. They call it
Mm-hmm.
sambo, combat sambo, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
All it is like a mixed martial arts of grappling. You got
Yeah.
wrestling, judo, and jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, can you really call it like sambo? Because the biggest thing, like, especially in MMA, we're not used to people standing up. We're used to people getting back to their guard. We're used to people, if you're in like the turtle position or like in wrestling, like called like the neutral position. But if you're in that position, in jujitsu, you get somebody to do like a shoulder roll, boom, they be on the bottom, they try to close guard on you or go for submissions. Whereas in MMA, they trying to stand up. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So you get a lot of these jujitsu guys on top, but then the person starts standing up, they're like, hold on, where you going? You get what I'm saying? They're like, you got me guard. Like, what you doing?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why I said like jujitsu, like learning how to pin a person and learning how to like mat returns, like pinning a person, like even like breaking them down, like in wrestling, what they call the tilts, like just
Mm-hmm.
breaking someone down and mat returning them. Those two things, if a jujitsu person could really get those down, they'd be a beast because we're
Yeah.
already learning how to take a person down. But it's like, okay, you could take them down, but you can't keep them down.
Right.
But when you can take them down, break them down, you know what I'm saying, to pin them, they start to get up, mat return them back down.
Yeah.
You can break a person mentally like that.
Mm-hmm. Wear them out. Wear
Yeah,
them out.
exactly. And then you get your submission.
Yeah. What person or what advice would you give the average person that's just trying to learn how to defend themselves?
Know the gym or know the coach that you're training with. Like, know, because like I said, if you're learning just pure self-defense, then you got to make sure you're training at a school or with a coach that understands self-defense. You get what I'm saying? Not somebody like, say, for example, you're going to learn jujitsu for self-defense because you heard jujitsu is a good self-defense, but then you go to the school and they teaching you how to do the berimbolo and like spinning under the person, doing all that type of stuff. It's not going to make sense. And then
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people get that false sense of they learning self-defense because it's jujitsu. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Or it's some type of martial arts. So they think, oh, I'm learning self-defense. When really you're not. Like, say, for example, to me, self-defense isn't learning how to box. Even though those are good, like learning how to strike, wrestle, jujitsu, learning all those are good. But when it comes to self-defense in a fight, it's totally different. Picture
Mm-hmm.
you teaching a woman, okay, she come to you and want to learn self-defense, but you're just trying to teach her how to box. And in the streets, you go out there, she go out there and throw a jab cross and break her hand because she
Mm-hmm.
threw it wrong. For a person that want to learn self-defense, like just only self-defense and stuff like that,
Yeah.
we in a time with internet. Do your research on what self-defense really is. You get what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And then look for a gym or a coach that teaches that.
That.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Because like I said, a lot of people they get that false sense of they learning. Okay, you can learn jujitsu, right? And then I'm thinking more of like, say for example, like a woman or something. Because like a man, you can learn jujitsu, the sporty stuff and all that. go out here and take somebody down and maybe submit them. You know what I'm saying? With some bait, a blue belt can do that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm talking about like as far as like when I think self defense, I think about someone smaller defending themselves against someone bigger. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And stronger than them. Because you don't train for somebody smaller than you. You train for
No.
somebody that's bigger than you. You know what I'm saying? And stronger. So you got to think like that because some of the stuff that you might go to a gym and learn and stuff like that for a woman that's smaller, most of her attackers gonna be like a man. You get what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So you to go out there and think you gonna like hit a man, a grown ass man with some perfect combinations and and you're gonna be rolling and shit like they gonna grab
Yeah.
you and or just
Yeah.
pick you up by your neck. You get what I'm saying? And you ain't gonna be
Uh,
able to reach with all your combinations. So it's
yeah.
like you gotta learn, like, and then when it comes to self defense and stuff, it's no rules. A lot of these sports and stuff, they have rules. Boxing got rules, wrestling got rules, jiu-jitsu got rules, MMA
Mm-hmm.
got rules. Even though I love MMA and MMA is like MMA would be a good like place to start with self defense and stuff like that because you learn a little bit of everything and it's based on a fight. But even with MMA, it has rules. You get what I'm saying?
Right. Mm-hmm.
You got to really know, like, and then just learning how to kick someone in the nuts ain't gonna cut it. You get what I'm saying? Like, you might miss, or
Yeah.
you might hit them, but it just make them mad if it don't knock them out. You get what I'm saying? And then now you're getting beat up.
Yeah.
So just researching it, knowing what self defense really is, and knowing what you're looking for, and then find a gym or a coach that can teach you specifically on what you're looking for. And then even like two rules that I have when it comes to self defense, it's not even physical. Like when you think self defense, you think more of like learning how to fight and all that. Like one, it would be like awareness, knowing your surroundings, not walking with your phone like just like this outside of Walmart and just, you know what I'm saying, knowing your surroundings, walking with a purpose. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Move with a purpose. If you just like this or you just on your phone, you a target. You know what I'm saying? Walk with a purpose, know your surroundings, awareness, and then two, your main goal in a serious self-defense situation is to get away, not to score points, not to try
Yeah.
to beat up somebody. You know what I'm saying? Your main objective is to maybe catch him clean in the nose, to get his hands up, and you run.
And
You know what
run.
I'm saying? That's self-defense. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? A lot of times you're just gonna learn to go in there and like you getting ready for a cage fight or something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
then man, the dude grab you and throw you or slam you around, like, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's just you got to know what you like really learning when you
Yeah.
want to learn self defense. You know what I'm
Yeah, no,
saying?
thank you for sharing that because that's a lot of new information to me, especially when you're talking about self defense. In most cases, is just being aware and getting away.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah,
You want to boom, hit them with a good shot, get their hands up or something, and run. It's not kick them in the nuts and then catch them with a bunch of elbows and then guillotine them.
yeah, yeah. You might try to do all of
Nah, you
that.
get tired.
Yeah.
That's what kills
uh,
me when I see those self defense ones. They be like, "Ah, yeah, 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 yeah," all that stuff. Man,
yeah,
first 2 seconds, I'm tired. I'm gonna get beat up
yeah.
anyway.
Okay, so what advice would you give the kids who unfortunately like don't see a future for themselves outside of fighting or being a troublemaker in school?
Join some type of activity. You get what I'm saying? Of course, it's gonna sound a little biased because of what I do, but join martial arts. But it doesn't have to be martial arts. It could be football. Join like a team sport. I would
Hmm.
say because that brings you it make you socialize more and meet, you know what I'm saying, different people and things like that. And when you see that it's bigger than you, then you see life different. Like I said, like with the kids, like when they don't compete and they come to the gym, they just see it's just about them versus their classmates. But when we go to a tournament, they come back with a different attitude because they like, oh, it's bigger than me. Like I'm getting better, so I can go to this tournament and represent my team too. Like we
Hmm.
represent our team. It's I'm representing you. They be lined up, you know what I'm saying, on the mats, yelling for each other, supporting each other. When just the other day they was trying to take each other necks off. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they see it a little different. And I would say like get them act. They have to get active in something. Because as long as they just see that it's think it's all about them and they just out there in the streets and all that, you become the people you hang with. You know what I'm saying? If you're around those type of people that's into all that stuff, you become that. But if you're around people that got goals, that's trying to do better themselves, that hold you accountable, you get what I'm saying? Like your teammate is at school, like you and your if they go to the same school, they like, hey, you going to practice today? You almost feel obligated. You know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
you don't want to be the bullshit of the team. So you're like,
Right.
yeah, I'm gonna be there. Boom, that keep you out of trouble. That keep you out of the streets versus just going out there being bored because boredom leads to trouble when you
Right.
when you're bored. When you're bored, you find something to do.
Right. Exactly.
So I would say get them into something. Like they need to be into something. All kids need to be into an activity. Because when they bored, that's when the trouble comes.
Hmm. I agree 100%, especially on that. You become the people that you hang around.
Hmm.
And another saying that like I often heard growing up was, if you're the smartest person in a room, go to a different room,
Exactly.
because you want to constantly be learning. You want to constantly be surrounded with the people that you want to become like. And if
Hmm.
you're always in a place where you're not growing, you're not learning, you're not pushing yourself, then you're becoming content with where you are. So you
Hmm.
need to be in a place where you're always challenging yourself, and you need to always be trying to pursue a goal or learn something. You know what I mean? So 100% is it's realizing that the most important thing in the world isn't necessarily going to always be you. You have
Hmm.
to you have to know, like, whenever the objective, the goal of the team is bigger than yourself, or whenever like being that supportive person to somebody else is more important than what you feel in that moment. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So
And
I
that,
agree
that
wholeheartedly.
even go back to like what you were saying, like our purpose and stuff. Like when you see it's bigger than you get what I'm saying? You start doing more and helping others too. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that's why I said the team thing, like joining a team is something. That's one of the greatest things you can do because like I said, it just changes your perspective on things. Like you
Yep.
see things different. When you see
Mm-hmm.
things as bigger than you and it's not just about you, then it goes back to how we started. You start to have empathy, more empathy for others. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because you like it's bigger than me. It's not about me. So now your goal is to get better to help others. Like I was saying, like
Yeah.
my goal was to, yeah, it would have been great to be a world champion or this and that. It's not still not too late. I can still do that shit. But
Yeah.
it's not too late, but it was like my goal became to I want to be the best athlete I can be to create the best athletes in others. You know what I'm saying? Even if you're
Yeah.
not just don't even if you're not in it to compete necessarily, but you become a better person off the mat. You get what I'm
That's
saying? Because you
beautiful.
see
Yep.
things different. You be like, oh, like you see things more as a team of helping
Mm-hmm.
people. You know what I'm saying? Like I teach my kids that all the time. I'd be like, you're getting good in order to help this person. And you see it with my kids. Like they boom, they be beasts, they be killing, but then they attack a person and then help them up and be like, good job. Like, you know what I'm saying? And like maybe you could have did this, but you know what I'm saying? Like next time do this. You know what I'm saying? They always helping each other. Not
Yeah.
like boom, and I say time and they be like, yeah. Like, nah, they don't do
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? They do push-ups. They do that in my class. They shake
I
hands,
love it.
they hug each other. You know what I'm saying? Because they
Yeah.
see like we're making each other better. And I need you to be better. If I don't have a
Mhm.
teammate, how do I get better? You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Like I could do solo drills all day, but at the end of the day, when it comes to grappling, you need that push and stuff like that, especially if you
Mhm.
compete. So it's like I need you, you need me. Let's take care of each other. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? And I want to see you succeed because you get better. It's gonna help me anyway to get better because I got to keep up with you.
Exactly. I love that, man. That's beautiful. All right, man. Coming to the conclusion here of today's show, we're going to rattle off our conclusion questions.
These the deep ones.
they
You know, make me think on these.
they are definitely some good self reflecting questions, man.
I'm ready.
All right. First question. What is something that you are working to add or subtract to your lifestyle and or mindset?
Oh, that was deep. Well, subtract patience. I would say like I've been working on that a lot, but having more patience. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
Especially, and being a coach helps me do that because that's one thing I did. I lack patience. Like when I wanted something, I wanted it now. I want it now,
Mhm.
or you know what I'm saying? Even like teaching helps you with that. That's what's something that I'm really working on because like you might see this one student that pick up so fast and all that stuff, and you of course you want all your students to be the best they can be. This student maybe pick up a little slower and stuff, but you can't put that pressure on that person because they're not like this person. So having the patience of they'll get there. They just taking a different route, a slower route, you know what I'm saying, than this
Yeah.
person, but they will get there. So not just having that patience and seeing that everyone is different. And I think coaching helped me a lot with that. And it is
Mhm.
helping me a lot. Because I still have those issues like where I have to center myself, find my chi. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Be like, all right, calm down. All right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or like just wanting things like that. Everything happens
Mhm.
when it's supposed to happen. And I get in the habit when I want something, I want it and I go and get it. Right. But
Right.
sometimes like you gotta be patient. You can't rush it. You know what I'm saying? Like it
Mhm.
happens when it's ready. So I think the biggest thing that I would want to add is more patience.
What is happiness to you and where does it come from?
Happiness to me, to be honest, it's it's having that nothing's perfect, but close to perfect balance with everything. Because it's always gonna be good and bad. It's always a yin and yang, right? So you always
Yep.
one minute you might have money, next minute you might be broke. You know what I'm saying? One minute you might think you have everything and then you lose everything, or you have a good days, bad days. So I think just peace to me is controlling what I can control and not stressing so much about the things that I can't control. You know what I'm saying? And having
Right.
that balance. You know what I'm saying? Knowing like when when things are so good, not getting caught up in it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's never gonna be bad. You know what I'm saying? Or when things
Right.
bad, having that confidence that it's gonna change. You get what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
it's balance. So with me, happiness is just being at peace with yourself for real. You know what I'm
Oh, I
saying?
love
If
that
you can't
answer.
put a price on it with money, like a lot of times we do that. I've been a victim of that. You know what I'm saying? Like when I get this much money, now I'll be happy. I'll be able to do this. We all want financial freedom and stuff like that, but I think we can find happiness now. You get what I'm saying? Like we
Yeah.
don't have to look outside for things. It's in us. Happiness is in you.
It's in us.
You get what
Exactly.
I'm
That's what I like to um kind of remind myself is that happiness is within the person and love is within the person.
saying?
Like
Exactly.
there's no love that anybody can give you that'll fix you or make you feel better. It's the love that you have for yourself. And that's the same concept with happiness.
Because with a lot of happiness, we look for it outside of ourselves. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? We looking for it in another person to make us happy. If we with this person, then I'll be happy. If I'm with this type
Yep.
of person, or if I have this, I have that. Then when you don't have those things, then you depressed. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Exactly. I love that answer. Third question. What is something that you know now that you would tell your younger self?
um consistency. Stay consistent. You get what I'm saying? Stick with it. Even though if it seemed like it's not working, stay consistent. And even though I was off and on with martial arts growing up, martial arts and music are the two things that stuck with me since I can remember. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And music didn't happen the way I wanted it to be. You know what I'm saying? But martial arts was there, and look what I'm doing. So it's like everything happens for a reason, but that consistency, like sticking with something and being consistent through everything, I would tell my younger self to do that
Mhm.
because I mean I'm happy now where I am. You know what I'm saying? I'm not where I want to be all the way, but I know it's getting there and the direction it's going. It makes me happy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I count that happiness.
Yeah.
But
I
I
love
but
that,
I'm
man.
not naive to it that I know if I would have been consistent younger, man, I
Yeah.
imagine where I'd be now. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
But like I said, that's something I can't control. You know what I'm saying? You can't go back and change that. And I'm at peace with that. So it's like, what can I do now? And that's where I've stayed consistent, even moving out here. When I started train certified, I really started it in like 2014, but it was more of just like more private lessons and, you know what I'm saying? Things like that. But it's something that I
Mhm.
stuck with because I was traveling so much. I was like, I need something that I could take with me everywhere. So it
Mhm.
kind of forced me to stay consistent with it. Everywhere I went, I was like, find a jujitsu gym, find somewhere to teach, find, you know what I'm saying? And then boom, I come here and what they say, it's no such thing as luck, but it's when preparation meets opportunity.
Yeah.
Like that's what happened when I moved here. I was prepared. All the stuff I went through and stuff like that, that I didn't really see the light at the end of the tunnel. As soon as
Yeah.
I got here, those opportunities came and I was prepared.
Yeah.
And it
I
was
love
really
that.
consistent.
Yeah. I love that, man.
Yeah,
And
I'm
I
a
was about
little
to
deep.
say,
I'm a little deep.
yeah. I was about to say it's funny that you say that, and it looks on the outside looking in on you that you have been consistent. You know what I mean? Like not knowing everything about your story, but it's great of you to admit that you were not as consistent as you wish you would have been. And me knowing what I do know about you, it looks like you've always been consistent with it.
Yeah,
So it just shows like no matter what other people think about you, whether it's good or bad, it's about like the truth that you know about yourself and what you want for yourself and how you think about yourself. You know what I mean?
exactly. I mean, yeah, it's just like that. Like just like I remember you made a comment like you thought I wrestled when I was younger or something.
Yes, I
I started
did.
like when I was like 30. So but it's the consistency. You know what I'm saying? The
Right.
consistency in certain things. And that's what the go back to like the competition thing when you was talking about competing. That's another thing why I competed so much because it kept me consistent. It kept me
Hmm.
training, it kept me learning, it kept me wanting to get better because I had
Right.
something to look forward to. When you don't have a goal or something to look forward to, that's when you get complacent.
Hmm. I love that, man. All right. Question number 4. Who is a role model to you and why are they?
My mother. I would say my mother. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
she's strong. You know what I'm saying? Like even at her job, she been in the same job. My mother's retired now, but she been in the same job since she was like 15. She in her 60s now,
Wow.
and she only had like one job with the government. But she was the only like she got into it with a few strikes against her. Like one, she was a female. Two, she was black. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And nothing but these old white dudes in the government. So she was black, she was a woman, and she gonna kill me for this, but she was short. So you go into it with three strikes, right?
Yeah.
So she always told me though, she had to do everything three times better.
Hard.
Like when they gave her something, she had to make sure she did it like unbelievably better. You get what I'm saying? Because she
Yep.
expected to do fail or just be average. You know what I'm saying? And her drive and what she do for the family and her sacrifice and all that. Like growing up, she was gone a lot. You know what I'm saying? Traveling and all that. But the sacrifice she made, you know what I'm saying, just to provide for us. I think like that's an inspiration to me. You know what I'm
It
saying?
is.
Especially
It
growing up
is.
in our environment, when we grew up, and she like born and raised there. I think my mother ain't leave DC until her 30s or something. You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
like especially coming from that area to where she what she created and what she did for herself, like that's inspiration.
Yeah, man. I love that, dude. Like my mom inspires me every day because the same thing, man. She's black, she's a woman, and she's short.
Yeah.
So it's all odds seem to be stacked
And you got the
against her.
short people complex.
Yeah.
Like
But my mom showed me every day what it meant to be independent and to work hard and because I'm a twin, so I have a twin sister, and she did it as a single mother, um, raising both of us, and made sure that we never. She did her best to make sure we never seen struggle. Like made sure that there was food on the table, no matter what kind of dysfunction was around us or the environment that we was in. Um, Seeing her kind of built that drive in me. You know what I mean? So I can completely connect with you on that because like I literally seen it too. So
And then
I
too, I don't want to even like shout out to my father too. You get what I'm saying?
hmm
Like, cause I don't want to like act like he wasn't there. He was there.
right.
You get what I'm saying? It
hmm
was mostly me and my mother, but he was there. You get what I'm saying? And the hustle, I learned a lot of hustle from him. You know what I'm saying? Like just the different things that he would get into and how he would learn it and just be at the top of it and you know what I'm saying like things like that
Yeah.
the trades that he got that drive and that hustle. I learned a lot of that from my father. So even though
Yeah.
I was basically raised by my mother and it was mainly me and her, I can't act like my father wasn't there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Shout out to my father
Yeah,
too.
and I don't want to just make it seem like that either because my dad today is my best friend. That is like,
Yeah.
yeah, like I tell him everything and I share every experience with him. Um, and I don't have anybody closer to me today than my father. My mom had primary custody of us, and I witnessed what she went through every day.
Yeah.
The yeah,
So it's different like that. And like salute you for like what you're doing with your son and stuff like that, because that's something that black males need. You get what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
that's something growing up where I'm from, like a lot of let's keep it real, a lot of black kids didn't have their fathers. Locked up
right.
dead or into some shit and all that. So it's like one thing my mother said, even though she didn't have the best relationship with my father, she said a black male, you need a black like a father, your father. You need a black male in your life. You get what I'm saying?
hmm
Because of course a woman can do her best to raise a male, but it's hard for a woman to raise a man. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it's like, and I was blessed, you get what I'm saying, to have my father around. You know what I'm saying?
Same.
In a type of way. In any type of way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? At least he was there. And that's when
hmm
I put that into my kids. You know what I'm saying? I was always there for them. I'm always like I was a big part of raising them. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I feel like you gotta be there. Like I don't like that. Yeah, it's a stereotype and all that about black males on in their kids' life and all that. Like we gotta end that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, we do.
Us. It started
Yes,
with
it does. That's 100% true. And I like to always kind of like remind myself is my dad set the bar, I'm going to try and jump it. You know what I mean? Like if I can be as good as he was as a father, I know I did my job. You know what I mean? So like he set the bar and it's my job to set the bar for my son. You know what I mean? So we do got to end that stereotype, man. All right, man. Final question. It's a two-part question. The first part, how do you plan on impacting the world?
helping as many people as possible through my gifts. Like just starting with my surroundings and then finding a way to branch out even more to more and more people. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's all about my legacy, like just giving back. You know what I'm saying? Like just helping as many people as possible. You know what I'm saying?
hmm
And I think, like you said, it goes back to our gifts. I mean, our purpose. I think that's our purpose. We have certain gifts and things like that, and we have to really grow that gift and give it to others. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So that's my goal, to
that's
help as
where it all
many people as
starts.
possible through fitness and martial arts, but not just the physical side of things, the mental side of things. You get what I'm
Yep,
saying? That's why I always tell my students this is to make you better on and off the mat.
a
You know what
hundred
I'm saying?
percent.
Like that discipline and everything like that, that's not just when you come in here with me. That's when you leave and go out
Leave
there. You get what I'm saying?
exactly.
So if I can impact, that's why I love teaching kids and stuff, because you know that's going to really impact them. Because a lot of adults we could be stuck in our ways. You know what I'm saying? When we get to a certain age and all that. But kids, you really see it because they like a clean slate. So you
hmm
really see that impact and you see the positive change in them. And that's
Yep,
what I do.
I love that, man. I like to think of that question as impacting one person's world.
Hmm.
Like, if I can change one person's life, then that's changing the world to me. Because that person could change another person's life, who could change two more people's
Just
lives.
like you saying, not to cut you off, but like
No, you're fine.
I grew up off of Tupac, right? And the quote
Yeah.
that he said, I might not change the world, but I'm gonna spark the brain that changed the world.
Yeah, he did.
That's stuck with me for a long time. So that's just like you saying.
Hmm.
Plant the seed in this one, he might help two more. Then they help three more. Then you know what
You,
I'm saying? And they branch out just because of that seed
exactly.
you planted.
Exactly. And it's funny that you said that, because Tupac is my favorite artist, like all time. So I studied a lot of Tupac when I was a kid, but it's just, to me, it's just paying it forward, man. Like
Yeah,
that's to me like just something to live by. Like, I know that I couldn't be where I am now if it wasn't for people taking a chance on me. Um, so who am I to deny a chance or give somebody or deny somebody an opportunity, if I'm in the position to do it? You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's just taking care of people. I feel like we're losing that in the world, and in some cases I see more of it, but in a lot of cases I see that we're just losing that, like taking care of people,
yeah,
because that's the one thing that we got. That's the world's the Earth's greatest resource is people, and we got to
mm,
take care of each other.
exactly. It's true, 100% true.
All right, second part. What is your contribution to your current relationships?
Being a person of value, you know what I'm saying? Like even say for example with the podcast, like I got my sense of humor. You get what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I got all that, but I always try to plant those seeds, yeah, on some like realness. You get what I'm saying? Like something that people
Hmm.
can really take and be like, oh, he funny, and like even in my classes, people see that. Like I joke a lot, I play a lot. You might see me dancing to the music in the middle of class or something. But then like I want to make sure I give people that value. You know what I'm saying? And where they come from. Even if it's not martial arts, even just being around me. Like
Hmm.
just knowing that when you come around me, you, you're going you're going to get something from it. You get what I'm
Right.
saying? Because that's my purpose, to be honest, to add
Yeah.
value to people, whether it's mentally, physically, like just to make people better. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
I love that.
yeah,
That's what's up, man. And I love that answer, because in wrestling, the greatest disciplines I learned were outside of wrestling, taking those things and applying them to my life. And I didn't realize until I stopped wrestling competitively that, like, those things that I was learning from my coach or I learned from my peers applied to life. Like,
mhm,
just the discipline of everything, just, gosh, self-discipline. Like, if you had to cut weight or whatever, just having the self-discipline to not indulge in the things that you really wanted to be a part of, whether at the time it's food, but really it's just life. Like, not participating in going to a party, or not participating with a bunch of friends that's about to go do the wrong thing,
yeah.
things like that. So you're learning that, and you're just learning to apply those to different things and areas in your life. And
Yeah,
that's
like
a lot of like what you were saying earlier.
exactly. Like you said, like that discipline. What's all together teach you that type of stuff? Like I even said
Yeah.
that with jujitsu, you can in the certain positions you in, it's so aggressive in certain positions you in, you can panic and have an anxiety attack. You know what I'm saying? If you didn't know how to control things, being on the bottom and somebody just smashing you and trying to twist your arms, and you can like have a panic attack or something. But learning how to
Yeah.
stay calm in that chaos, that translates into the world. You get what I'm
It sure
saying? Just
does.
staying
Yep.
calm, like some chaos happening, and you can stay calm in the middle of it and think clearly. That's a superpower to me.
That is. Oh, I love that. That was great. Well, I gotta tell you, man, this has been fun. It's been a great pleasure having you on the show. Um, and I really enjoyed the banter and getting to know you more and your story more, man. And I again, man, I tell all my guests this, because I feel like it's a big ask, I think, to come on my show and be vulnerable. and tell a side of your story that like strangers are going to listen to.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate you taking the time, especially this late in the evening, at the time that we're recording. And thank you for coming on. Thank you for being vulnerable, man.
Man, I appreciate you having me, man. I like this podcast. That's why I wanted to be on it. Like, cause it's just deeper. You know what I'm saying? Like even the
Yeah,
conversations that you have, like you said, that vulnerability, like that's something that a lot of us are afraid to be. Like, you know what I'm saying? That
exactly.
you know what I'm saying, to talk about certain things, to talk about it. So you need podcasts like this.
Yes, of course, man. And that's all I'm trying to do, man, is just promote this for the younger generation, for my generation, for your generation. Like I feel like doing this helps you grow and helps the people that are around you. It helps you grow with them.
Mhm.
Um, but so many people are too prideful and too scared to admit it and talk about the things that they struggle with and their past and all of these things, man. And yeah, so this means a lot to me having you on and sharing.
Yeah, you're doing a big thing. Keep it up. Proud to see you doing this. I want to see you back on the
Thank you.
mat soon too. But
Hey, I got you. I got you, man.
I'm
It's
proud. I'm proud of you, man. Good to see you doing this, man.
Thank you. I'm gonna say this real quick, but so you can follow Coach Marcus's gym page at Train Certified. We got the t-shirts on at Train Certified, and then his coaching page where he does a whole lot more kind of breaking down into like the videos and things like that that he shares is at official Coach Marcus.
Yeah, official coach.
At official.
Yep,
Okay, perfect. And whenever I share this on Instagram and on YouTube, we'll just add the little tag in the description and things like that so people can find you, man.
perfect, perfect. I appreciate that, man.
Of course, man. Thank you, man.
I appreciate it. We'll see you soon.
This is it, everybody. I'm your host, Jabri Cowan, and this is Uncomfortable Conversations.